Good afternoon. Welcome back to 13 News at Noon. We have now seen signs that the escort for Officer Jamie Cox is making his way from Fitzgerald Funeral Home up here to First Free Church on North Mulford Road. This is South Mulford to North Mulford, but they are escorting him. He's not going alone. As you see, there are several police cruisers taking him, not the size of procession that you saw earlier this week or you'll see tomorrow. But again, very clear from Rockford Police that he will not go alone as he makes his way up South Mulford Road. He'll pass some major intersections. I'm told they're going to take the intersections at ease. There will be some lights that they can switch so they can make it through. Not a lot of roadblocks, but if you are headed out now anywhere near Mulford or State or along this path of South Mulford to North Mulford, this is what's happening right now. Officer Jamie Cox's body is being brought here to First Free Church, where memorials will begin. Tonight, this afternoon, is the visitation. This is where family, friends, and also the community can come pay their respects to Officer Jamie Cox, who less than a week ago died in the line of duty. Now he's been brought here with his brothers and sisters in uniform here to First Free Church, as you're seeing right now at this live procession route. Once he gets here, I'm told that the Rockford Police Department's Honor Guard will escort his casket on foot, and they will bring him to the main entrance of the church. And once he gets to the main entrance of the church, there's also another group standing there, the Patriot Guard Riders. They are a national organization that arrives at locations when there is an officer who's killed in the line of duty. So they're here to stand there with the American flags as the Honor Guard proceeds to escort Officer Jamie Cox's coach into the First Free Auditorium Church here. This is an 1,800-seat auditorium that at several points this weekend will be filled with people grieving and also wanting to pay their respects to the fallen Rockford police officer. 30 years old, graduated from Hononegah High School, also Northern Illinois University with an environmental studies degree, also military veteran. On this Veterans Day, another honor for this young man. He also served with the Illinois Army National Guard. Many of his fellow comrades who served with him told us about what a great guy he was and how he served with honor and dignity. And he was honorably discharged in 2010 and went to work for the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, where he was a conservation officer for a couple of years. And then in December 2016, last December, he came to the Rockford Police Department. And after less than a year, he was killed in the line of duty on what was supposed to be a routine traffic stop Sunday around 1 o'clock in the morning. That investigation is still underway. The Integrity Task Force is taking a look at that. But today and tomorrow is it's all about remembering Jamie, not just for his family, his friends, his fellow officers, but for the community. So many of you have found different ways to show your signs of support for law enforcement after you heard of what happened to Jamie with the blue light bulbs that you're picking up at stores and putting into your porch lights, or you're stringing blue lights out on your bushes. I've seen them when I'm driving around. We've all seen them. The kind of unity that comes together in a time of tragedy. This is what the Rockford community is doing right now in the police department. They can't tell you personally as much as they want. They can't tell you personally, but they've told me, and I'll relay the message. They are absolutely grateful for what you're doing for their fallen brother in blue, Officer Jamie Cox. As his coach arrives now to Mulford and State along the procession route. Again, a smaller escort that you'll see than tomorrow, when up to 3,000 police squad cars and fire trucks from all across the nation are expected to bring him from First Free back to Fitzgerald Funeral Home on South Mulford. Right now, he is being escorted up here, so his coach is inside the auditorium when they receive him. Before the visitation begins at 3 o'clock here at First Free. It is open to the public. There are going to be times when it's very busy. When 5 o'clock, when Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner comes here to pay his respects, told by his staff he wanted to do that, so he's coming up here today. And then at 6 o'clock, the law enforcement walkthrough here at First Free Church. What you're going to see there are all the brothers and sisters that wear the badge like him. They are coming here, and this is their time to say their goodbyes, to pay their respects to Officer Jamie Cox. And you can do that as well from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock here at First Free Church. The parking's ample, but it's not going to look as ample when you get here, I guarantee you, with as many people that want to come and they know want to come. So just be mindful, especially if you're coming off the Mulford Road exit into First Free. You're going to see the row of flags as you arrive in honor of Officer Cox, but there's going to be lines to get in and to park, and then once you get inside this auditorium, I took a quick look inside. It is rather large, but it's going to seem small once you get 1,800 plus people inside. But if you're joining us right now, the procession has begun to bring Officer Jamie Cox's body from the funeral home, Fitzgerald Funeral Home on South Mulford, up here to where I am at, is First Free Church on North Mulford. We're told once he arrives here, the coach will be received by the Rockford Police Department's Honor Guard. These are police officers who do exactly what they say. They bring honor to this fallen officer, and they will show the highest sign of respect, I'm told by police, which is to lower all flags except for the national flag when his coach arrives. And then they will take him out of the coach, and they will take his casket inside the main entrance, where he will be for the visitation from 3 to 9 for mourners, grievers to come and pay their respects. This is all open to the community from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock here at First Free Church. And now, I'm told he's making his way, the escort's making its way even closer at Mulford now and Guilford. So that's what you're seeing. If you live around there, if you work around there, this is what's going on right now. Fallen Rockford police officer Jamie Cox is being brought to First Free Church, where he will be received by the Rockford Police Department's Honor Guard, and he will be here for the visitation from 3 to 9. His casket will sit in the front of this very large church auditorium. This escort, very important, very significant, because with any kind of, military, police, you don't go it alone. And they've made it very clear this whole time, as we saw leaving his escort from OSF's emergency room when he was pronounced dead Sunday morning around 5 o'clock. A massive line of police cars bringing him with their lights on at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30. People came from all over, I'm told. If they were on duty, getting on duty, they all went to OSF, and they escorted his body to the coroner's office, and his coroner's office to the Fitzgerald Funeral Home, which you saw that large procession that we carried on our Facebook page. It was just incredible to see, and so many of you still along the procession route. And I think police are anticipating that. We have the procession route for tomorrow, which will be much larger on our website. But right now, order of business is to bring Officer Cox's body here to First Free Church on North Mulford and Spring Creek, that corner. Once he comes through the Spring Creek entrance to the church, we're told the honor guard is standing by. We have a camera positioned to show you that honor guard. And this is the moment where they receive him and his coach, and they will make sure that every bit of reverence and respect they can give their fallen brother in blue, they will provide that. So he arrives here at First Free Church inside the auditorium with the dignity and honor that they say he deserves. So if you're joining us right now, the procession has begun to bring Officer Cox's coach to First Free Rockford. And once he arrives in the parking lot, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let that moment play out, because it is like we've seen all this week with you, the community, as we've been watching and experiencing this with you. It's very powerful and very moving. There's his family, who's going through a lot right now, and I know that they've said through family spokespersons and whatnot that they are so appreciative of the support, the donations, the kind words, the messages. They've seen it all, and today is their day, and we will be outside of the church all day. And it's amazing, again, what you're seeing right now, people lining the streets of North Mulford Road right now. So many people have said that Rockford has come together through this incident, this tragedy, and there's another sign of it. I mean, when we saw many of you earlier this week outside the line when he was brought to the funeral home, waving your flags, holding blue lights, very powerful. So many of you are paying your respects, and many of you plan to do that from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock here at First Free Church for the visitation. Then the funeral is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. When he arrives here at First Free Church, The preparations have been going on all morning. I've seen, honor guards preparing, flower trucks arriving, what you would see for a funeral setup. And I'm sitting out of the corner of my eye on the other side of North Mulford that I see his escort has arrived. So momentarily they're going to turn right on Spring Creek and then come through the Spring Creek entrance. And I'm seeing what you've been seeing. There is a small police escort to bring Officer Jamie Cox's coach to First Free Church for the visitation. And momentarily you're going to see out of this one camera where you see the honor guard standing by, you're going to see his coach arrive with that escort. And then the memorial services will begin. The visitation here at 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and then tomorrow's funeral at 10 o'clock in the morning. As this happens, I'm going to tell you right now that this is going to be a moment that you're going to experience with us, but we're going to I'm going to quit speaking to let you soak up at this moment, because it's going to happen any minute now, and I want to watch as well. But I want to remind you, Honor Guard, Rockford Police Department Honor Guard, is at the first entrance, and then when you see closer to the main entrance, you'll see people standing with American flags. Those are Patriot Riders. They are people that show up to police funerals. They put an all call out across the nation, and the people that you'll see standing with leather jackets on and tall American flags, they are here. If there were protesters, they would block them, but there are none. But they're here to make sure that Officer Cox gets every bit of respect and dignity that they feel he deserves as his coach arrives here at the main entrance to First Free Church. So we're going to watch right now. They are coming in right now live. Officer Cox has arrived at First Free Church. If you're just joining us, this is the procession. More than a dozen Rockford police cruisers escorting the coach of fallen Rockford police officer Jamie Cox here to First Free Church on North Mulford Road. Those flashing blue lights you saw up and down Mulford Road, that's what this was. This was to transfer the casket of Officer Cox from Fitzgerald Funeral Home here to First Free Church. What you're seeing right now is the honor guard getting ready to receive the coach of Officer Cox that is carrying his body, and it will be brought up to the main entrance and then walked inside the main entrance of First Free Church, an 1,800-seat auditorium that the scene of all the memorials for Officer Cox will play out. Faintly in the distance, I'm starting to hear the bagpipes. That is Aaron Kerr, the funeral director at Fitzgerald Funeral Home, playing those. The rest of the honor guard that is around Aaron, that is the Rockford Police Department, Winnebago County Sheriff's deputies. They will give Officer Cox the highest honor. What that means, if you're not familiar, you've not been in an honor guard or been around them, they will dip the flags of everyone but the American flag out of a sign of respect as his coach is brought into the church. You may recall, 30-year-old officer, December 2016, he started with the Rockford Police Department. Then this past Sunday morning, killed in the line of duty. And as that investigation plays out, the family, his friends, and the community that many of you have said you feel like you've known him, this is the time for those memorials and remembrances. Today and tomorrow, from 3 to 9 is the visitation that's open to the public, and then tomorrow at the 10 o'clock funeral in the morning, and then the very large procession afterwards. But if you're joining us right now, the Rockford police officers, about a dozen of them or more, just escorted fallen Rockford police officer Jamie Cox's coach from Fitzgerald Funeral Home on South Mulford up here to First Free Church on North Mulford. And as I hear the bagpiper coming around the corner playing Amazing Grace, you can just imagine the feeling that everyone is having out here right now when that song and that on the bagpipes is played is kind of moving. So I'm going to leave you now with the honor guard bringing Jamie Cox to the church. you're just joining us live, you're looking at the main entrance to First Free Rockford Church on North Mulford Road, where Rockford police officer Jamie Cox, killed in line of duty early Sunday morning. His coach has now arrived to be received by the Rockford Police Department's Honor Guard, Patriot Riders from across the nation who are standing there in front of you with those tall flags. And then as you see in the distance, just far enough to see, but far enough to have their privacy, that is the family of Rockford police officer, the focus of many of your thoughts and prayers over this last week. They have said it's important to make this open to the public. So from 3 to 9, there will be a visitation here at First Free Church on North Mulford and Spring Creek Road, followed by a funeral tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. Officer Cox's coach was brought here from Fitzgerald Funeral Home by about a dozen or more Rockford police cruisers. His coach will then be taken inside the 1,800-seat auditorium, where it will remain the next day for these public remembrances. Many other close family members you'll see coming in off your screen. You'll see their backs walking up to the rest of the family, and to the coach carrying the casket of Officer Cox. Just a row of cars. Because while he was a public servant, he was also their son, husband, brother, cousin, nephew. There's a large gathering of family right there. Once everybody makes their way to the entrance, the coach will open and Officer Cox's casket will be taken out, and pallbearers will take him inside the auditorium here at First Free Church. And I will pause as that moment plays out right now. Just joining us, Officer Jamie Cox. His casket has arrived here at First Free Church in Rockford. The scene of what will be the visitation at 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock as you see his family, immediate and extended, making their way inside the church for what no doubt, undoubtedly is going to be a very hard next 24 hours as you have the visitation from 3 to 9, but also the funeral tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And this outpouring of supporters they're seeing not just from the Rockford police officers, but these people standing with the flags. Those are Patriot riders who have come from across the nation. They arrive at these police officer funerals to make sure that there's no protesters, there's nothing that stands in the way from the respect and honor that the police department who lost their fallen comrade is trying to pay the highest amount of respect for just the family and for that officer. This has been extended coverage that we've been able to provide you at 13 WREX, both on air and online. We're going to continue to be out here at First Free Church. We know many of you want to come as well. Let me tell you a few details before I let you go. 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, that's the time. I know Rockford Public Schools are off. A lot of you might be coming earlier, might be coming later, but some key times where people will be here are 5 o'clock. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner will come here and pay his respects. So you're going to see a large presence from Springfield here at 5 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock and 6:30 you're going to see the law enforcement walkthrough. That's when all of Officer Cox's brothers and sisters in blue from the Rockford Police Department, any other law enforcement agency will come here and pay their respects. And then after that, the City of Rockford employees at 7:30 will have their moment to come in and pay their respects to Officer Jamie Cox, who died at 30 years old early Sunday morning on what was a traffic stop. That is now being investigated to figure out what exactly happened that led to this officer being killed in the line of the duty. So we're going to leave you right there with our coverage, but stick with 13 WREX. We will be airing the procession tomorrow and the funeral tomorrow, but tonight we'll break in with information as you need it. So I'm going to leave you right now with regularly scheduled programming, but we're live out here at First Free Church in Rockford, where Rockford police officer, fallen Rockford police officer Jamie Cox has now arrived. Take care.
Increased risk of bleeding or bruising may occur, especially if taken with NSAID pain relievers, aspirin, or blood thinners. Manic episodes